There are quite a few places in life where you feel I have no idea how to navigate this phase or situation I am in right now. And that uncertainty itself can make you feel overwhelmed. Let's try to understand this better. Imagine you are given a layout that you haven't figured out yet. You don't have the key, so you have to make a lot of guesses. And as you keep looking around, you start finding clues that eventually lead you to the key. Doesn't it sound a lot like an escape room? We actually pay for this experience. We pay to be locked in a room, not know the answer, make wrong guesses, look for clues, and spend time figuring out how to get out. If we can pay to experience this kind of uncertainty and actually enjoy figuring it out, why does it feel so overwhelming when life gives us a similar situation for free? I know an escape room is different. You know it's going to end after a certain amount of time, and if you really want to leave, you can. On the other hand, a phase in life doesn't give you that option. But if it is possible to make a setup exciting where you don't know the answer, then it's also possible to make a situation with uncertainty comfortable in your real life. Now, why do we feel so overwhelmed when we don't know how to navigate a situation in life? To understand that, we need to look at the world we are living in right now. Whether we realize it or not, most of us are living inside an online bubble. When something difficult happens to you, you naturally need some reference point to understand how normal, serious, or significant your situation is. But now, more than before, we are using that online world as the reference point. And even when nothing is specifically wrong in your life, you're constantly exposed to other people's exciting, successful, or idealized lives, which can make your own realistic life feel like something is wrong with it. Because real life isn't a vacation every day. Sometimes it's just waking up, going to work, coming home, watching some TV, going to the gym. You're constantly exposed to two extremes. You see people showing the honeymoon parts of their lives, the success, the travel, the exciting moments in their relationships. And on the other side, you see content that makes you focus on everything that is wrong with life. Both can pull you away from your actual reality. That's what makes the bubble so powerful. You're sitting inside your own situation, but instead of using real life around you as your reference point, you're using this flashy 1 minute world. Your situation is already difficult, but then you start comparing it to what you're seeing online or feeding it with more negative content, and you start feeling even worse about being in that situation. I'm not demonizing social media. I am only stating the facts. Everything has its pros and cons. It depends on what you use it for. So, how do we pop this bubble? I want to give you a simple tool that you can use whenever you feel yourself getting overwhelmed by a situation in your life. I call it, is it bigger than the sky? I chose the sky because it is something you can access almost anywhere. I look at the sky and ask myself, is this bigger than the sky? By this, I mean the situation I am currently thinking about. And if the answer is no, I smile. Not because whatever I am dealing with doesn't need my acknowledgement, but because I realized that I was making that situation deliberately bigger with the assistance of my very own brain. You might say, okay, now I understand why this happens. I understand that I am living inside an online bubble. So, why do I need this obvious little tool? Because knowing something doesn't automatically change your behavior. When you feel overwhelmed, your brain already has a pattern it knows well. You might know all this information and still choose to scroll, compare yourself to other people, consume more negative content, binge eat, and end up feeling even more overwhelmed. It's like a cycle. Just knowing doesn't necessarily break this cycle. You need to introduce a different behavior into that moment. So instead of reaching for your phone when you feel overwhelmed, look at the sky and ask yourself, is this bigger than the sky? If it isn't, smile. The smile is there to make this new response a good experience. You're giving yourself an instant positive moment for choosing a different response instead of going back to the same old cycle. The more you practice it, the more natural that response can become. At the end of the day, understanding something doesn't automatically change your behavior. You have to practice a different response until it becomes part of how you naturally deal with that particular scenario. These aren't just nice things to know, they are tools that help you when you practice them. And if you want to explore more ideas around building clarity in your life, you can check out my clarity playlist to help you along the way. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.